Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, liberate, motivate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I'm excited yet again because my next extraordinary guest is a community outreach specialist and public health trained leader dedicated to strengthening families and elevating youth voices across Solano County and the greater Bay Area. And there's a whole lot more, but without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Maryam Trumpf. How are you doing today, Maryam?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to also extend my sincerest gratitude because I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend a moment of your time here with me at this present moment, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's an honor. When I learned that you will be interviewing me, I was really honored to hear that. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Miriam, let's just get right into it. Give us a little insight, and I know this is kind of a broad question, but just give us a little insight on your community outreach specialist and public health leader, the type of things that you do, the people you work with, and your intentions. Just give us some insight.
Yes, of course. So I am the founder of Moms Building Community and Tomorrow's Table podcast.
Right.
First, there was Solano Moms Building Community, where our focus was we started from Solano County. And then both platforms, Moms Building Community and Tomorrow's Table podcast, where we bring resources, connection, and community engagement to youth, families, and kids. And this podcast came about because a lot of times in this era where we live with AI, with computers, I feel like a lot of our youth and families are disconnected to resources, disconnected to community engagement. And in my era, all of this was very much there. I did a lot of community outreach. I was very involved with my community as a young girl. And that made me fulfilled in life. And to now, I have that foundation where I feel happy. Sometimes a lot of people think giving back to the community is about giving back to the community. But when you realize giving back to the community is about fulfilling you and you get the sense of belonging to a community. I
Right.
always was privileged having that feeling. And as I have my two boys, which are 6 and 10, I saw that that need has to come back. What I felt and the youth that I worked with when I was doing, we do ELIYAM, which is a robotics nonprofit where we bring simple things like jelly beans, toothpick to churches and underserved counties where kids learn how to make structures and less of screen time, more of hands on. So at that time, I
Wow.
learned that a lot of our community has this disconnect, and I was feeling it as a mom, the disconnect for resources and how to access it in a relatable way. It is so much, there's resources in our community. However, you don't know how to access it in a relatable way that a family, a youth can do that. So
Right.
that was where the mission came with the podcast, that we need to bring the youth voices, community voices, and the leaders together with organizations where community feels empowered.
Right.
And that's where the community outreach or community civic we do with our youth podcasters, with the kid podcasters, and the moms.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing that you are helping to cultivate and develop life skills as well and confidence within people and just also just the resources. That's amazing. Could you
Thank you.
could you give us a little insight? Also, you mentioned your podcast. You have two different podcasts, Moms Building Community and Tomorrow's Tables. Can you give us a little insight on those, like how they came to be and a little bit more of what they're about?
Of course. Moms Building Community was our first podcast where local moms and where moms from the community are the podcasters. They're the creators of this podcast. That's the difference. We bring moms, regular moms, leader moms, and politicians to the table. We all sit together and talk about the resources again, what we can bring for our families. And with that resources, then the moms get the confidence where they feel like their voice is heard, because as a mom sometimes you don't feel like your voice is heard, and each mom has a different struggle. I may have a different struggle and another mom has a different one. That's why we bring different moms from our community where they sit in the table with the organizations and leaders. They say what their needs are and how they can connect to bring the need they have. That's how Moms Building Community came. With having those episodes for the moms, we saw a big demand with youth wanting to be part of it. And that's when we brought Tomorrow's Table podcast, because the youth needs are different than a mom. Their needs are, we have to focus as a mom when my son is youth or their friends, that mental health is the foundation of theirs. So we need to focus for the young what mental health is, how to give them access to resources. And number one thing is for them to feel that their voice matters when they sit and the table with the leaders and organizations. They get the confidence, my voice matters, I'm talking to them. And now tomorrow there will be very strong leaders, because they sat at this young age with these leaders and they
Mhm.
learn from the leaders, the good and the bad. And from the organizations, when they're informed, they make better decisions for themselves and they can advocate for themselves and the community better when they are well informed on organizations and the leaders of their community. That's how Tomorrow's Table podcast came about.
Wow, that's amazing, and thank you for sharing that. So, how can people find those podcasts? Are they on what platforms, and how can we find them?
Great question. We have the podcast, both of them, or full episodes are aired on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, major platforms. They are airing the full episodes. But if you're the type that you want to see clips of it, really what's happening with videos and having fun, you go to Instagram, Moms Building Community, and Tomorrow's Table podcast, where on Instagram, we would love for you to follow us. And the number one important thing that I want the community know, you are co-creators of this podcast. You follow us. You let us know what you want to see in this podcast, because we want your input. We want you involved in this. Without your input, without what you need in this community, we don't know what you need, because you are
Right,
the co-creator. Let us know this is the resource I want. Let us know this is the leader I want you to interview. We will accomplish that for you with your help. We will bring you to this table and sit with us and have that interview. I want the your audience and all the audience to know this is very important, to be
right,
engaged, to be part of this podcast, because that's the goal.
right, right. That's amazing. And you mentioned it, that what I like about it, what you just mentioned, is that you're getting people involved, and not only just are you showing them what you want or what you are interested in, but taking their interest into account. And yes, I think that gets people, like I just said, involved more, and yeah, makes them feel that, yeah, they're, like you said, they're co-creators of what you have going on there. And you mentioned that you know you have leaders, and can you give us some examples of people that you've had on the podcast? And I'm mentioning that because I've seen a few episodes, and I want people to kind of get an idea of the impact, and you know who you have there.
Yes, of course. We have, for us, we have all kinds of leaders. We have had congressmen, we have had
Right,
mayors of all cities, including Solano County, including all the leaders of Contra Costa. And
right,
now we're expanding to UC Berkeley, where we have interviewed the AI professor, And we are not just Solano County now. We are all over California. We have podcasters in Arizona, Newport, Florida, and now it's
Wow.
expanding international. It started from Solano County, but now it's expanding because, again, the need is very important. We see the youth want their voice, the mothers want their voice. And like, again, I bring this back. It is so important to have your community's voices to come and they be the creator of this podcast,
Mm.
and for them to see that they can come sit in the table, they could have their voice and they let us know who we should interview and their input. They love that, and we love that because that is exactly why we created this podcast. We want them to be part of this.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing. I love hearing that. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And
And I want,
also,
oh,
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to also mention I am very grateful that we also have podcasters that are leaders in the community. We have uh, Pokem, which is for special needs
Yes.
parents, empowering
Yes.
parents. We have Tanya, which is CEO of VEST. We have Patty Phillips, which is board member for NAMI. And I don't want to miss any names. We have Paulina, which is for Juanes tutoring. We have Oriana, which is a great leader that she joined our podcast, and she has made this, has added so much to the podcast with her point of view and the young age she is. That's the beauty of this podcast. We have middle-aged, we have young, we have kids, and we have older generation. We're connecting all of them together too, because at one point in our society, they are disconnected with each other. The older think that the young, I cannot relate, the young think that I cannot relate to the older, and the kids cannot relate to them all. We have brought all of them together. Each one sits at the table with the leader and they bring their point of view. And it's beautiful to see all these point of views, how much they have in common and how supportive they are each other. So
Right.
that is a big concept that I love watching them at the table where all ages sit together and they come together.
Wow. That's just so amazing. And I just picked up on a few key points there is how your podcast platform is expanding and the podcasters, different podcasters that people out there can really tune in and relate to them. You're covering all bases, and that's amazing. That's
Thank
just
you.
amazing. It's really community oriented, people oriented. I would like to say humanitarian oriented. It's just amazing and just educational and just absolutely amazing. And I look forward because I'm on the sidelines as a fan as well of your podcast. So yes,
Thank you so
I
much.
yes, when I'm doing my podcast, I have no problem highlighting someone else with what they're doing too, because it's to me, it's all about elevating and educating and making aware and just providing valuable information out there and I'm a fan of that, of just elevation and just awareness and knowledge and education and just yes perspectives, and so that's amazing. You're doing an amazing job. Yes, my daughter Ariana, yeah, she speaks very highly of it, and I just love what you're bringing out in her as well
Thank
by
you.
providing this opportunity, and it's just absolutely amazing.
Thank you
Absolutely
so
amazing.
much. And I want to say that key point that you said, that you're here to elevate and support us. And I want to thank you and for the leaders and the organizations that are supporting us and believing in our mission,
Right.
because it's so important to give that credit. Without the support of your community, the leaders and organizations, the youth and us, our voices cannot be heard. But with their
Absolutely.
support and support of individuals like you that believe in collaboration, I am very big believer of collaboration, because a lot of times people are afraid of collaborating because by
Right.
that they feel like they will lose something. In my life throughout, I have done this radio since I was undergrad at UC. Collaboration has added to my platforms because
Absolutely.
we bring diverse people sitting, and that is already enriching the podcast by diverse people sitting, bringing their ideas, their platforms. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you for collaboration. Thank you for supporting, because without help of community leaders and organizations and our podcasters, this will not be able. And I'm a very big believer that tomorrow these young podcasters will be great leaders, and we will keep the mission, because we want a human centered
Mm,
platform, and our platforms are human centered, where the youth go to the field, to the events, they go there, they see what is the need of the community, they meet these leaders, and they talk to them and ask them to be guests at our podcast. These are all human centered when you take the time to go to the events, to bring these guests to your podcast. And we very much are grateful to our podcasters and our community.
wow, wow, absolutely wonderful. Can you give us a bit more insight? Now you touched on it, but let us know you're the founder of the ELIYAM Robotics. Can you institute? How did that come about? And I know you mentioned a few activities that you do for the children, but yeah, give us a little bit more insight on that. How did you come up with that? And yeah, how'd that
So
idea? Yeah.
Yes, I have always been very involved with my community, like I said, from a young girl. And in 2023, I believe that's the correct, I don't want to give you the wrong information. I became the volunteer of the year for Vacaville School District.
Yes.
And in that time, I was volunteering a lot. And I have two boys that are 6 and 10, like I mentioned.
Right.
I very much am a big believer of it's okay to have screen time, but it's okay to do hands-on, because we live in a society where it's easily than my era, the screen is there, they could use
Right.
it, there's laptops, there's phone, there's TV. And for me, it was like, no, I want to get them engaged, where with simple things like uh, paper plate and straws, we can make roads on that, we can make structures. And at that time, ELIYAM stands for Elijah and Yama, which are my two boys. So it's the uh, smaller version of Elijah and Yama. And we came up with that. And after that, we wanted not just our kids, their friends, and kids to be involved more on hands on.
Right.
So a lot of times that is the purpose of ELIYAM, is to be hands on and away from screen. I get it.
Wow.
Our kids need to learn the next era, AI, 3D printing, as my boys do. But I think they should also keep the foundation of what we grew up, which is hands on and skills that will take them if there's one day no screen time. And when it comes to hands on, it's also very fulfilling for your health and your soul. I see with my kids, when we are in the nature, they're calmer, they're happier.
Mm.
So ELIYAM is mostly bringing back the foundation of hands on than screen time.
Wow, amazing, Miriam. And I would just like to just double down on some points that you made. In my perspective, and thank you for sharing that with us. In my perspective, I think our youth, especially now, they're exposed to a lot of information quickly. And there are some positives and negatives in that. I try to focus more on the positives. So there's a lot of things that these young people can do that I can't do. A lot of things that they're aware of that I'm not aware of. But at the same time, so that is a good thing. But at the same time, I think everything in moderation, the screen time especially, and it is very important to monitor that and to limit that and get back into the real hands-on, because even I can easily become connected to that screen and forget to even move. But just there's so many things that you can see, that you can watch on those screens, that you don't have to go anywhere. So
Yeah.
you got educational things, you got entertainment, you got everything. Everything is there. So yes, it's easy to get so engulfed, so sucked in, that you don't, especially with a young mind,
Yes.
that needs you're providing the cultivation, the guidance to say, hey, in a gentle yet non-boring way, hey, let's put that aside and do this. So it's not the way that you're doing it is not just saying put that down with no alternatives. So it's amazing. And
Thank you.
I thank
Thank
you
you.
for doing that.
Thank you. Yes, one thing that works for me is even when it comes to my podcasters with my boys, I always put myself in their situation.
Right.
If I was that kid, that 10-year-old, the 6-year-old, if I am that young podcaster that I am nervous to go in front of a crowd, I try to approach it that way. I am in their shoe. So if when I was a kid, if someone told me, don't do this thing, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So yeah, so I want them to do it by choice, by getting inspired to do the right thing, not by
Right.
force, because as parents, we only have power so much. I'm there
Mm,
till they're 18. As much as I would like to have all my influence on them, no, they're going to be grown men, but I
right.
want them to be inspired. My husband and I try to inspire them to choose the right thing. And that's
Right.
the method I use for my podcasters. I want to inspire them to do the right thing, to get
Right.
involved, to do community outreach. I have never told them what to do. I never try to take away their their platforms, what they believe. I want them to make that choices, but I want them to be inspired in what they do, because then they have more pride and they feel like I am making that decision than being forced into that decision.
Absolutely. And I resonate with that because I believe that that's a good way of nurturing, especially our sons and daughters by not just saying no and not giving a reason, but giving other examples as to okay, and to really because you said it perfectly. We have only so much influence. I mean, they go off
Yeah.
to schools, they go off around their peers, and those are really powerful influences. The the screen time is powerful influence. So you want to really watch and balance how you forbid them not to do things or the discipline and everything like that. It's not like I'm not saying that you have to walk on the eggshells and whatnot, but that's a good way that you're doing you want them to be motivated to do the right thing, like you said, and that's a good way to do it. It's amazing. I'm
Thank you. You know what I always say to my kids? We're a team, but remember,
right,
daddy and I are the captains, because
right,
I don't want them also get it, like you said, wrong, that they can,
right,
I have to walk on eggshells, or that they can make these some choices. But it's like,
right,
no, the team works together when all of us are working, but the captains
right,
will make the right choices that all of us could benefit from it. And
right,
like I said, whatever I do with my family, that's the belief I have with my podcasters, with the community, because I feel like the family is your micro, where the influences are in a micro level, but the community is a macro level. If both of them are not healthy, your kids' life is not going to be healthy, because our
mm,
kids go to this world, they go to our communities where they go to school, they play sports. If the macro world is not healthy, as much as I do in my micro house for them, all the healthy things, they go out there, it's not going to be healthy. So it's best to have the macro and micro world healthy. We work together where we have a thriving youth and community for ourselves, for our children, and generations to come.
wow. Thank you. You speak so eloquent and
Oh, thank you.
and just yes, with purpose. I
I
love
think it
that.
comes from the heart, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it's with purpose, and that's
Yes.
amazing. I can really feel what you are articulating. Amazing.
Thank
So,
you.
is there anything else that you would like to highlight that I didn't touch upon, or anything that's you have going on coming up, anything or any uh, words you would like to leave us with? Anything.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that opportunity to let me say my. I would like the youth, the families to get involved, whether it's with our podcast, whether it's outside. it's a time where you have to have your voice. It's best with, like I said, with the era we have AI, we have everything that is not human centered. We need to be doing AI. However, we have to be human centered. And by human centered, how you can have that is by being involved in your community. Number one, you get informed on your leaders and organizations, what is going on in your home so you can be part of it. And it's never too late or too early. You can start at age 6. We have podcasters that are age 6, and it's never too late because you still have your family, your grandchildren, and kids living in that community. So, by best is giving that time to go to your community. Whatever you choose, organizations, leaders, go out there, get involved. And if you don't know where to start, like I said, follow us on Moms Building Community and Tomorrow's Table podcast. Direct message us, call us, let us know what you want to see, how you want to be involved, and what organizations you would like to see in your community, and we will work with the leaders to bring that for you. My main message is young kids, families, get involved. This is the only way we'll have thriving communities and get your voice heard and have your platforms out there. If we don't know what's going on, how could we learn to bring that to our leaders? The best way is for you to tell us.
Wow, that's amazing. And I won't add any more to that other than, well, actually, I will. I just want to highlight even more that, you know, that's been a, I want to be sure I say this correctly, but it's been a thought all in the back of my mind, and you'll see where I'm going with this in regard to social media, in regard to screen time and the effects that it has on not only, you know, my children, my daughter, but on the effects that it's having on society. And you are a prime example of how of solutions. You know, that's
Thank you.
amazing. That's amazing. And I
Thank
won't
you.
say any more than that. Yes.
Thank you. You're correct on that, that using social media as a tool for its advantages is a great way.
Right.
And a lot of times, social media, like we talked about it earlier, it has the negative effects.
Right.
But
Right.
when you're out there, again, involved in a human-centered way, doing community outreach, community service, then
Right.
when you come back to that social media, you also see as aspects, okay, this is not healthy, this is healthy.
Right.
And I think that is so important when, especially when it comes to mental health for our youth and our kids, to
Right.
see the ill effects of social media on their
Right.
mental health, because a lot of times that's where we suffer with our youth and kids is as they grow older, that they don't have the coping mechanisms on how to handle social media. Like you said earlier, social media exposes you to so many things that they're not ready. The frontal lobe is not ready till age 25, they have studied, and yet they're bombarding them with all these TikTok, all these things to do. But if you know the mechanisms on how to cope with it and use the right way, it will be very healthy. And by us with the podcast, we try to bring the healthy ways, how to use social media in a healthy community engagement way.
Yes, yes, that is absolutely amazing. And I'd like to add to that the way that as an example as well, the way that my social media is set up is when I scroll through things, it's only enlightening and positive things. So I'm not connected to all this. And believe me, this is not a jab at anyone. And
No,
this is just an example. The way that I've set up my social media when I'm scrolling it's all elevating content. So I don't have the violent content, the gossip, the on mine because I
yeah, no,
want things that's going to elevate me when I wherever I spend my time and energy. Go ahead,
no,
Mariam.
I was going to say that is very important. Actually, you're giving us great advice and great tool telling us if we choose our platform on the things that we want to see in a healthy way, then
Right.
we should set it. Even I'm thinking now, as you said it, maybe I should check mine. Is it set to that? Because
Yes.
it's very important to do that, I think, because a lot of times, people take the break from media and social
Right.
media, but I think putting your platform to the right thing is important too. That is a very good tool that you just taught me, actually.
Yeah, and I fine tune it just to give you a bit more insight, and I won't go too long. But like, for example, I have a Facebook. Us old people like me
Yeah.
still have Facebook. So, or Instagram, right? So there's people that on there that are friends. They may have some positive, things on there, but if I see enough times some negativity, maybe I won't unfriend them at that particular time, but I'll unfollow so that way I won't see that information anymore.
Yes.
So I do that on
Yes.
purpose. So everything I'm doing is fine tuning on purpose so that I'm just receiving educational awareness, elevating content when I'm being fed. So I'm not being fed. So oftentimes when people come to me, hey, did you hear about this? I haven't heard about it. Not saying that I don't want to be aware of current events that's going on around, but I don't want to. My this is my specific perspective. I don't want to be bombarded with fear-based,
Yes.
information all day long.
Oh,
And
I can relate to you.
yeah,
I am the same.
so
I
yeah,
actually don't watch the news.
yeah. Neither do I. Neither
Yeah.
do I. Anything that I feel is imperative, I will find it out some way. Somebody's going to tell me that an asteroid is heading to Earth to destroy
Or
it.
you will feel it, right? When
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure I'm going to find that out. But to keep current on the latest killings and shootings and this, I don't think that's going to serve me no purpose.
no.
I move with awareness everywhere I go. So I'm not saying I know it all, but I feel that I put out positive energy and I receive it back. But yes, I like to keep myself what I like to call on a high vibrational level. And I think I know if I feed myself certain information, it will impede me from doing so. So that way, all my social media, my YouTube, it's just subscribed to just elevating, informational, knowledgeable, healthy, wellness oriented content. So that's what I see.
No, that's very
Yeah.
important because a lot of times when there is, the fear news or the things that are going on, it's out of your control.
Right.
If you can't control something, how could you worry about it?
Right.
And that puts fear and anxiety in you. And in return, then your life becomes with anxiety and fear, and you don't make good choices when that's what the foundation of your life becomes. So, like you said, it's best when something is not in our control to let it be. And when it happens, we'll figure it out. But why worry about it when you can't do anything about it?
Right. Thank you. Thank you again, Miriam,
You're welcome.
for being here today. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening. Be sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Share this content. Not only help the platform grow, but help get this information out there to people. Thank you very
Th-
much.
Thank
Sending
you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Sending love and appreciation to everyone. See you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved.